Welcome to the TA introduction to UCOL29512 Introduction to Computing. You're looking at the top level view of Blackboard. The students will see all the information in this website or Blackboard, and I'll let you have a look now when I click and let you into the site. So while it's booting up, the important thing to realize about this website, it's got all the information on it that you need and they need to do the coursework and see what's happening. So let's go and have a look at maybe one of the documents that will tell you everything, and that is the module guide. So the module guide, which is a guide which I give to all my courses, introduces you to the course and any coursework or exercises. So let's go and have a look at it. So each year the module guide is updated, so this is a particular year, and when you look at it, maybe the first important thing for you to look at is what you need to know as a TA. So let's pass through the module guide. It's got a lot of information about the course and the exams. The most important thing for you maybe is the areas concerned with the coursework. Let's go and have a look at that then. So here's the coursework here. So this is where we need to look, which is basically page 23. So if we go and look at the coursework, we'll see that this document lays down what they've got to do, how they've got to do it, and gives them a lot of information. So the first section is the significance and what they have to do. And then we look at the topics they've got to look at. Now what they've got to do, and I'll show you in a minute what they've got to do, they've got to select from a topic list, and then they email the lecturer, which is me, a selection of 5, I think, possible topics. Then I allocate them from the top topic down to the bottom, and they're allocated as they get used. So let's go and have a look at this information then. This is the topic form that you'll see on the Blackboard website that they have to fill in. So as you can see, they fill in their student name, email address and course, and then they give, well actually it's 4 choices. And here's an example of a choice. So let's go and have a look. There's some more information here about the rationale for the coursework, possible management, how to do it, and then there's one way to submit, and that's to me in the lecture room. So that's where they submit it. And here's some advice for writing as well, and maybe some information. Now the next thing you need to know is marking scheme. So in their module guide you'll also see the marking scheme which we use for the coursework. So this is the one we're going to use, so I'll introduce you to it again when we actually mark the coursework, but this is it. It's actually something that they'll be given as feedback as well. This is the other marking scheme that they're given as well. So they're given 3 bits of extra paper feedback, the marking scheme and this assessment feedback as well, which hopefully I've already shown you. Now the rest of this is a portfolio topic list information about what they can select, and they select it from a number of course books. There's 3 different course books they can select a topic from. Now this is the actual guide, so what they select is one of these topics, and that's what they're going to write a report on. Then I give them some advice on how they might lay out the document, which when you mark them, by the way, you'll see if they've adhered to this at all. And there's quite a bit of advice there, even on diagrams and referencing, obviously, which they tend to get wrong. Right, so now let's go and look at the other information on the module guide. So what we're going to look at now is we're going to look at the coursework. So let's go and look at the coursework. folder. So there's quite a lot of information here. One's a real-time introduction to coursework. Hopefully in my information pack I give to you, I'll also put this URL, so I'll just quickly boot this up and show you it. It might take a while. I think it's in Camtasia and it might take a while to load. Here it is. Welcome to the 19512 introduction. So it goes through there. It might be a little bit out of date, so if it is, I'll just apologize to them, but it basically takes them through the process that I've talked you through. So what about the portfolio topic selection form? Well, I've shown you that. Let's show you it again. So let's go and load it and open it. It's an MS Word document which they fill in and then send back to me once I've downloaded it. Right, so this is the form that they download and fill in. As you saw before, they have to fill in their name, their email, their course, and then they select, got 5 choices here from the topic list. So that's the portfolio selection mechanism which they email to me. So let's look at, and then we've got the coursework specifications. Now this is just a chunk straight out of the module guide that you've already seen. So, okay, so the coursework specification, as I've said, is a snip out of the module guide, and it shows you exactly the same as the module guide did. So let's go back to the directory. Let's go and look at that. Here's the portfolio topic list. Now, what I normally do here, as you can see, this is an older one from last year, and I'll have to update this obviously, but you see I've updated all the people who've selected the topic, and as you can see, what I actually do is I highlight the ones that have been selected. So I'll update this one in a moment, but at least it shows you how I keep up to date the portfolio topic list. You can see which one they've selected. There is actually quite a few on this list. So that's how they select their topics from the topic list. The other one is how to submit, and again this is out of the module guide, and it basically says one way to submit. They're going to submit a paper copy to me in the lecture room. So that's that. Mentoring times, this is the one, if you remember, I do at the end. So what we better do is bring this up and see if we've got this. Let's see if it's here. This is the right one, that is. Let's hope it is. Looks like it. So let's go and find the slide that I showed you. So this is the times. Now this will change each year, but basically where you're needed is after they've submitted the coursework. This is when we mark it here. But also after the coursework submitted, the lectures are finished, and this is where you do your 2 2-hour lectures here in week 9, Thursday 9 to 11, and week 10, Thursday 9 to 11. So that's when we do the going through binary arithmetic first, and then the little man computer. So really your time on the job, if you like, is these two, if you like, example classes, and after this lecture we also get down and mark all the coursework here as well. So we'll sit down and work out the best time for all of us to sit down and mark it. So again, week 9 and 10 are the 2 2-hour exercise classes, and after this last lecture we then mark the coursework. So what else do you need to know, really? Well, I've put on what I put on for you. Hopefully I showed you this, which is, if they look at it, it's a guideline for redrafting. If you remember, I showed you those two, I have to check that, ways of reviewing that I've sent you now. So one of them was that, if you remember, that thesis that shows you how to do a review, source review and things like that. That's just for their information. And I also put the systematic reviewing method that I've sent you, which is how to actually do this method of reviewing, a highly technical reviewing system there. So hopefully if we've done this right, I've shown you all the things you need to know. So what I might do is just go back and show you a bit more information. So hopefully you now see that most of the information I'm going to send you in the pack will be to do with coursework. Now, when we come to the last 2 weeks, which I think are weeks 9 and 10, aren't they? Then we've got 2 things. We've got the tutorial in binary and the answers. So let's go and have a look at the tutorial you'll be expected to do. Now I must say it's not quite at the same level as 15111. Hopefully you can go through all of it. I sort of hopefully have showed you the paper version of the other one we do, but this is the arithmetic we do. Some of it hopefully you're going to have no problem with. It's radix or base conversion from base 2 to base 10, and hopefully they know how to do repeat division and things like that. It's all from their course notes. So the other thing is each slide takes them through different methods. This is repeat division to do basically conversion from base 10 to base 2, and they were shown this in the course and there's a video of this. Then there's all the other examples for converting from binary to decimal as well, which you know how to do. And then we move on, so they have lots of things for conversion when they've got a negative number, how they have to do this and undertake this conversion. Then we've got processes here which go through the process steps for a number of conversion routines that you should know. Most of these are numeric conversions. Then we move into addition, and again you've got to step them through it and particularly show them meticulously how they do each column, and how if a column like this one leads to a carry, how they need to place it under here. And if they've got any one of these and there's already a carry in, they'll need to be shown that not only do they have a carry, but they place a 1 here. But I'm sure you know how to do binary arithmetic. And then they go through a number of arithmetic steps to show, well, are there any effects that happen here? And what you're looking for here, when, if they do happen, they might not, is the effect of overflow if you've got certain number systems. So for 2's complement, it could be important what happens to this one, and I'm gonna, well, hopefully you know what can happen to it. It can affect this number here, and what they should do is they should perform the mathematics and then convert it back again and see if they get the correct number. So that means they do the binary addition and then they take the answer and do binary to decimal just to check. So there's lots of other, hopefully to you, simple mathematics processing that they do. Mostly addition and mostly finding out what happens with an overflow, and then saying something about it, understanding that it'll actually be an overflow into the sign bit, and what will happen to the number if that's the case, if they do actually change the sign bit information. There's quite a lot of standard mathematics, but actually there's also some subtraction, and then when they realize they can do subtraction by addition, because actually this sign information can encapsulate the negative number, and therefore they perform subtraction just by performing addition of 2's complements, which they might need explaining. There's some other questions when they get a bit later, when they do a lot more mathematics to get used to it, and then they do subtraction and they might have to change the number and work out how to do this. So most of this you should probably be able to work through. Hex conversion you should be able to do. So let's go to the little man, and they've got the answers there. So I'll give you these in all your pack. The answers there just tell you, so you can have them beside you as a crib sheet. So let's have a look at the last one. The last one is the one where I said they do the little man computer. There's quite a lot of information here how you do this little man computer on paper, which I think I showed you. This is the tutorial sheet that I hopefully have shown you. So this one is the sheet where I went through and basically said they're going to go through their lecture notes, fill in the blanks, hopefully they'll be able to do this. Tell me what this means for the opcode and instruction. This is all in their little notes. It tells them that this is the operations code, this is the address for this code. It might be a load. And here's all the instructions, and then put down the opcode mnemonics. And as we know, mnemonics are human understandable. The opcode is numeric. This is an opcode. And then basically a lot of this is taking them through their notes, taking them through so they should read their notes and just write down what's required. And then it finally takes them through machine code on paper, and then it takes them through some other exercises as well that they can go through. Most of this is straight out of their notes, and there's some past exam paper questions for them as well that they should be able to. This one hopefully will help them, and it should. And if you've never seen Evernote, this is worth watching or listening to because it takes them through. So Evernote with LiveScribes enables you, or should if it works, to record information and then play it back. So let's see if this works. So now it'll go to Evernote and it should actually play this if it works. Might take a while to load. And it'll actually play this through. Let's see, will it work? Might load it. And basically what it'll do when it's playing is it will play through and overwrite this text as I write it, and it should be able to say how this is filled in. I'm not going to wait for it to play. It can sometimes take a while to load unless you're on a very fast network, maybe in the computer building. So that's on paper. That should work faster there. The other one is this. There's little bits of information about instruction decoding, and again this should link to Evernote, and then it should play when it comes up. So you should, if I click it or you click it.
So this is comp 19512, and the question is in the Little Man tutorial session. So it's the LMC. What week are we?
The most important thing to see here when it is working, LiveScribe with Evernote, is seriously
and what we're looking
powerful.
at here is
this mechanism enables anyone using it to record, as you can see here,
decimal number
a real-time
on each piece of paper decoded. So let's call it
with students around me as I was doing this live. So there should be a number of those that should work. Finally, binary addition. Let's go and have a look at that, and that should go through binary addition. Let's see, this might even work, you never know. It should be much faster in the
COM 19512.
So you're seeing
and
how
what we're going to do is addition.
Evernote work. So it takes you through in
Now
real
the first thing you've got to
time,
realise that addition
undertaking
is, in this
a
case,
tutorial to show
binary.
them how to do it. So I think we're nearly there now. I've given you a view of a number of pages on the website. I'll probably send you this TA pack as well, and hopefully update any of these spelling mistakes that I've still to find. I guess the only other thing that you should be aware of is I suppose that hopefully if you've done 15111, this shouldn't be any task at all, and as I've said, the coursework is what we're going to focus on marking, and there's also the two exercise classes in week 9 and 10. So I think that's just about it now. Actually, I think we're just about there. We've covered the fact that Your job, should you accept it, you already have, is these 2 tutorials. I've shown you the sheets, I'll send you the sheet and the answers. A lot of the sheet information is trying to take them through their lectures. They're the same information presented in the lectures to try and get them to reappraise what was in the lecture. If not, you can nag them. There is the video recording of the lectures, there's the lecture notes, and I expect you've done this all before, trying to get them to reappraise how to do it if they don't know, and then give them breadcrumbs and show them in both of these. These are normally done, as you can see, at the end and not during the lectures, because they're much closer to the exam at the end and they're more intensive, so they can sit down and work their way through it as well. So I think we're there now, and I have to say thank you very much for listening. I think I've covered most of the things you need to know, so thank you for